Hello students, a very warm welcome to all of you. Myself, Patel Pravada from Param Guru Pathshala English Medium School, Sarsa. Students, today in this video, I will discuss with you the fifth chapter from Standard 6 Science, that is Separation of Substances, Part 2. In this video, I am going to discuss numbers of topics. They are evaporation, condensation, and saturated solution. So students, ready for that? Let's begin. First, we are going to touch the topic that is called evaporation. Students, remember one thing. This method is used to obtain a solid substances that is dissolved in a liquid. A solid substances which dissolve in a liquid. As we know that common salt dissolve in water. We all know that common salt can be dissolved in water and it can be separated by this process that is called evaporation. The process is based on the fact that liquids vaporized easily by heating, whereas a solid do not. So this process based this fact that liquid can be vaporized by heating, in the same time solid do not. So students, we can say that the process of changing a liquid into its vapor on heating is called evaporation. We can do an activity to understand this process better, and for this activity we have to take common salt, water, a china dish, Bunsen burner, 3-pot stand and wire case. First, we have to take 1 teaspoonful of salt or whatever you want the quantity, and some quantity of water. Then put it both things in a beaker and dissolve it properly. Place the beaker on a tripod stand as shown in figure. Now heat the solution by Bunsen burner. Now student, do you know what we observe? We observe that the water present in the salt solution evaporates to form steam. When all the water present in the solution of common salt gets evaporated, common salt is left behind the beaker. So, as we know that water evaporates and the solid, that is salt, do not, then we can separate the both thing by this process. So we can say that soluble solid substances can be separated from water by the process that is evaporation. Students, salt obtained from seawater by this process. Seawater contain a lot of salt, we know that. The process of evaporation is used to obtain salt on a large scale from seawater. Seawater is trapped in shallow pond and allowed to stand there. The heat of the sun gradually evaporates the water completely in the shallow ponds, leaving behind the solid salt. This mixture of salt is further purified to obtain common salt, of course. So it's sent to factories and purified and then delivered to us. So by this process, that is evaporation, common salt are prepared. Now our next point is condensation, which is another important process for separation of liquid from a mixture. This method is used to obtain a liquid from its solution. We can get water from salt solution by this process. We can get water again by this process from salt solution. This process of changing vapor into its liquid state on cooling is called condensation. I repeat myself, the process of changing vapor into its liquid state on cooling is called condensation. So whatever we get the steam or vapor, and in next stage we have to cool it and condense it and get a liquid, that is called condensation. We can do an activity to understand the process, and for this activity we have to take some common salt, water, kettle, frying pan, beaker, Bunsen burner, tripod stand, wire gauge and ice cube. Students, first of all we have to dissolve some common salt in water to obtain common salt solution. To prepare common salt solution, pour this salt solution in the kettle and put the lid on it. Place the kettle on the tripod stand. So we have to prepare first salt solution and put it in the kettle, and then put the kettle on tripod stand. Also place a Bunsen burner below the tripod stand, of course. Light the Bunsen burner, heat the kettle for some time. Steam comes out from the spout of the kettle. Take a frying pan with some ice cube in it. Hold the frying pan in the slanting position just above the spout of the kettle. Then what we observe? We observe that when steam comes in contact with the frying pan, which is cool and containing ice, it cools and condenses to form droplets of water. So the frying pan, which is chilled with the ice cube, it change the vapor into water droplets. These droplets trickle down on the underside of frying pan and then start falling down. When you collect these droplets of water in a glass beaker and taste them, you find that they do not have salty taste. It is a pure water. It's like a simple pure water. You do not taste any salty taste. So we can conclude that water can be separated from salt through the process that is evaporation and condensation. Now our next point is about water, and we have to know about such thing about water. First we have to know that water is a good solvent. Water can dissolve many substances like sugar and salt. Thus it is termed as universal solvent. You have to remember this term, the universal solvent, that is water. When we dissolve a substance in water, a solution is formed. Whenever we dissolve some substances in water, it prepare a solution. The substances which get dissolved in water are said to be soluble in water. The substances which do not dissolve in water are said to be insoluble in water. So soluble in water and insoluble in water, there are two substances which are get dissolved, they are called soluble, and which are do not dissolve, they are called insoluble of water. For example, salt. Salt is soluble in water, whereas sand, which is insoluble in water. Students, water can dissolve a substance only up to a limit. And to understand this line, we can do an activity. And for this activity, we have to take a beaker, common salt, a spoon and some water. First of all, take a beaker and put some water in it. Add 1 teaspoonful of salt to this water and stir it with a spoon until the salt dissolves completely in the water. Go on adding more and more salt in water with constant stirring to dissolve it. Do you know what we observe? After adding a numbers of spoonful of salt, we observe that some salt is left undissolved at the bottom of the beaker. This means that no more salt can be dissolved in the given amount of water. There is limit. There is limit come. The solution is now said to be saturated solution. Now we can say that water can dissolve any substances but only up to a limit. There is a limit that water can dissolve any substances. In the above activity, we obtain that saturated solution of salt in water. Now what is saturated solution? A solution in which no more substance can be dissolved at a given temperature is called a saturated solution. So it is the limited prepared solution where not a single particle of substance can be dissolved. I repeat the term, a solution in which no more substance can be dissolved at a given temperature. Of course, it is a main point, given temperature is called saturated solution. Actually, student, the space between the particle of a substance is called interparticle or intermolecular space. The interparticle space is maximum in gases and minimum in solid. So in liquid, the interparticle space are full of substances, and then there is no space to dissolve to take the place by the substances, and saturated solution are prepared. Students, when a substance dissolves in a liquid, it breaks into smaller particles and get accommodated between the interparticle space of the liquid, as I said earlier. The substance that dissolves in is called solute, and the substance in which the solute is dissolved is called the solvent, as we can say that water. Solids dissolve in solvent to form solution. So solute and solvent, they together prepare solution. For example, sugar, it is a solute and it dissolve in water. So water is solvent and they make sugar solution. Students, different substances dissolve to different extent in water at a given temperature. You have to remember that different substances like sugar or salt, whatever the substance, dissolve to different extent in water. They are not same at given temperature. For example, sugar dissolve in water more than common salt. The extent to which a substance gets dissolved in a liquid is called its solubility. I repeat myself, what is solubility? The extent to which a substance gets dissolved in liquid is called its solubility. So students, solubility of a solute generally increase with the rise in temperature. Now it is the another important point comes that solubility of a solute generally increase with rise in temperature. Let us perform an activity to understand that how can we increase the solubility of substance by heating. For this activity, we have to take sugar, beaker, a spoon, water and Bunsen burner. Students, first we have to take some water in a beaker. Then add a small quantity of sugar to the water. Now sugar dissolve in water as we know, and stirring it with a spoon. Keep stirring. When the sugar dissolve in water completely, keep on dissolving more and more sugar in the water with constant stirring until no more sugar dissolves. When no more sugar dissolve, we have to take rest. Now heat the beaker containing the saturated solution that you prepared and observe. Let this hot solution cool. What we observe? Let's find out. After adding a number of spoonful of sugar, you find that some sugar is left undissolved at the bottom of the beaker. That's mean after adding a numbers of spoonful of sugar and you continue stirring it, but at a time come when some sugar left undissolved in the bottom of the beaker, and you have obtained a saturated solution by this process. That's mean you have got the saturated solution, because there is no single particles of sugar can be dissolved in the water. But on heating the saturated sugar solution, the undissolved sugar at the bottom, which is in the bottom of the beaker, gets dissolved. Now that is the twist of this activity. When you heating the saturated sugar solution, you will observe that the undissolved sugar which are at the bottom of the beaker, they get dissolved. This shows that at higher temperature more sugar get dissolved. And when you cool the hot solution, the sugar settle at the bottom of the beaker again. So when you cool it, you can say that the sugar, the extra sugar settle at the bottom again. This shows that at lower temperature less sugar dissolve in water. We can say that. So higher water can dissolve more sugar and lower temperature can dissolve less sugar. So what can we say that? Heating or of a saturated solution or any substance increase the solubility of the substance. We can say that heating of saturated solution can be increase the solubility of substances. When the saturated solution of a substance is cooled to a lower temperature, the solubility of the substance again decrease. Also, some of the dissolved substance separates in the form of crystal. So by this activity we can say that the solubility of a solid substance in a liquid increase with rise in temperature and vice versa. Means you can decrease the solubility again by cooling it, and you can increase the solubility of the substance by heating it again. So students, here we know that water is a very good solvent, but at a limit it can dissolve any substances, and by according to different substances the solubility are also different, and according to temperature the solubility are also different. The main thing is that heating of a solution can be increase the solubility of substances, and by cooling it we can decrease the solubility of the substances again. So students, here we finish our fifth chapter from standard 6, that is separation of substances. And I hope you can understand the points whatever I discussed with you, that is evaporation, condensation, and all about water as solvent. So thank you students for joining me. I hope you understand. Thank you.